K-Lytics has released a Western romance report, which is very interesting to me because I've considered Westerns to be dead since the late 80s. There are soaring sales ranks. New indie stars Elsie Silver, Lila Sage, Jessica Patterson have revitalized the genre and vaulted cowboy love stories onto bestseller charts. Now, these are not classic Westerns.
I would say
Okay?
Susan May Warren and has been writing Western romances for a long time and doing very well. Also,
Well,
Lacey
if you're good at it, then people are going to
Williams.
take it.
Yeah,
I mean, we know westerns are doing well because of the Mandalorian and sci-fi, Firefly. We know westerns can still do well,
and
and
if you've been listening to our Zeitgeist episodes, you know that King Arthur is coming, but he's going to be wearing a sheriff's hat.
Zeitgeist. All right, but now it has now Western romances have a different of a makeover. They're now cowboy romances. That is the term that is being used. Okay, cowboy love stories. They're stylish, retro illustrated, modern contemporary instead of the old-fashioned ripped Stetson wearing dudes. Okay, the tropes are small town charm, enemies to lovers, friends to lovers, with now Western settings. We're making cowboy tales that are now relatable to today's romance fans. Okay, so we're talking Hallmark, but instead of going to small town Minnesota, now they're going to small town Montana. There's a pop culture push. You got Yellowstone and its spin-offs. Yellowstone did very well. It was really well received. Taylor Swift has this whole Western chic thing going on. Cowboy fashion boom and denim revival. Thank you, Sydney Sweeney. TikTok cowboy core trend. There's a lot going on in Western romance right now where we're looking at the cowboy love stories and
What's funny to me
romance
is that,
readers want.
Yeah, what's funny to me is that these genres have been popular amongst Christian romance readers for a really long time. My wife was at Walmart a couple weeks ago and she saw a denim jumper and she took a picture of it and she texted it to me. She's like, "My culture is not your costume."
That's
like
awesome.
All of the things the homeschoolers were into, the
Yes.
mail order bride story,
Yep.
right? That's been popular in the Christian space for decades.
Putting the cool back in culottes.
Like, suddenly it's going mainstream, and it's like, I don't know how I feel about this. I mean, I suspect the authors who were doing well are doing even better, but it's an indication though of this overall zeitgeist shift towards a more conservative, less progressive ethos, because the trad wife movement, and even look at the the fashion that's really popular right now, like the milkmaid dress.
No, Holyoke. No.
Cowboys versus aliens. There is a good story there. It's not the one that made it into a movie.
But it is so bad. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah, so we're seeing this zeitgeist shift, and when I'm saying conservative, I don't mean that in a political sense necessarily, although there's that aspect to it. But I also mean it in the conserving the old ways. There's lots of like TikTokers and YouTube shorts of craftsmen who are doing crafts using old tools. Like, I'm going to drill this hole using the like twisty drill thing. This kind of longing
pasta
for this
pasta made
world.
with the bronze the cutters. Yeah.
Right. Yep. So we have kind of simultaneous zeitgeist events happening at the same time. And y'all may fit into one of these groups, right? There's the techno optimists, which are like wanting cyber trucks and digital everything and kind of moving into the future. And then that they're looking forward with optimism. And then there's the people who are looking backward with nostalgia.
Yeah.
That's universal. That's not unique to this era of the zeitgeist. But what is unique to this era of the zeitgeist is where they're looking. And so the fact that we're looking out to the West and that we're looking to, the World War II era with nostalgia, and we're not looking to historical periods that were on different points, right? We're not looking back to World War One with nostalgia like the 1920s, right? We were. Downton Abbey was very popular, but it was really popular 15 years ago.
Yeah. So I'm going to give some targeting information on Western romances real quick. The search interest for cowboy romance is actually above the supply right now. Okay, so the number of new books being released a month is not actually meeting the demand people have for these cowboy romances. So that's important.
You're underlying our whole talk about rapid release, Jonathan.
Hey man, this is what this is what you got to jump. Hey, cowboys were always cool. Okay, now they've changed cowboys. They've only successfully changed cowboys a couple of times to make them fit, like you're saying, the zeitgeist. Okay, I think cowboys can actually fit all four turnings because you have the frontiersman, you have the pioneer, you have the gunfighter. You have different types of cowboys here. In one of these, cowboys are the bad guys. I mean, that's the whole point of Tombstone, is that the cowboys are the bad guys, or the gangs.
Yeah, this is the difference, and this is really important, the difference between an aesthetic genre and a narrative genre. So an aesthetic genre is the cowboy hats and the boots and the dust and the setting.
Spurs.
And the narrative genre is what kind of story you're telling in that setting. And I'm curious, and I don't know if the K-Lytics report went into this in terms of the narrative, and talking about like tropes and stuff, but which narrative elements are resonant right now inside of this
it's in the
aesthetic
report.
Okay.
Yeah, it's in
and
the
I will
report.
say, if you go to authormedia.com/K-Lytics, I have an affiliate link for K-Lytics. I encourage you to actually get the report. Yeah, we shouldn't give away everything because Alex puts an intense amount of research into these reports.
Oh, everything is not here. I only have 3 more things that I'm saying,
keep going.
and they're just like, seriously, to dive into them, you got to go to this report. There's about 500 new titles a month, and of those, KU is underrepresented, which tells me indies aren't writing them. It's a potential new spot for indies, but as far like the titles being produced of these 500, I would say about 300 or 350 or so are actually not in KU, which tells me they're trad-pubbed because
what
most
trad-pub publishers are publishing cowboy romance?
I don't know. I don't know if Harlequin's doing it.
My guess
I didn't know Harlequin was on Amazon.
My guess is that these are actually that's actually not what's happening. That instead it's romance writers kind of from the Christian world where they're really anti-Amazon and they're not in KU because they're wide and they're selling.
It's possible
because they have remember, not everyone feels the way about Amazon that you feel.
Correct.
Whoever you are, and some people really don't.
I'm Amazon vegan.
I'm an Amazon vegan. I'm morally superior. The riffraff who eats at Amazon or shops at Amazon. Those are the lowly people. I shop only boutique, artisan, locally sourced, crafted, vegan bookstores.
Because cowboy romance has been such a niche for so long, I don't actually have enough actionable data to tell me as to whether, if I'm seeing a higher number of non-KU titles here, if that means that these are trad-pub, because that's normally what it means in a genre. If something is not in KU, it's usually trad-pubbed. I know a lot of indies go wide, but that's not the majority of indies. Okay, so we're talking statistically, on average, especially in the romance genre, you're going to be in KU. That's where the money is. So as far as this particular niche goes, like I said, I need a lot more immersion in the data to be able to tell me how behaviors are forming here. It is now considered a hot mainstream by K-Lytics. It's no longer a niche. It is considered like it's hockey romance now.
It's going to get so flooded with books.
Oh, it's going to be so bad too. I mean, we're going to have the busted shirts open again and everything. It's going to be great. Now, classic Westerns are ranking much lower than the modern cowboy romances. So if you're going to write, it has to relate to the people that are writing it instead of being you're writing John Wayne again or you're writing Louis L'Amour again.
So what this is telling me is that women are looking to the Western setting more than men are looking to the Western setting.
Just ask yourself, are they making sourdough again? Like, no, seriously, that's an actual indicator. If they're back into bread making is a lot of work. I make bread. Okay, and I have to plan my day around the bread because I have to make the dough and then I have to proof the dough and then I have to, pound the dough and I have to knead the dough and I have to rest the dough and then I have to, get it in the oven and I have to rest the bread after it's done with that. There is a ton of stuff that goes into making bread. It is a lifestyle choice.
Right.
And so if women are looking at that again, that tells you a lot about the zeitgeist because it means they're trying to either connect with something or they want to have a family like those women did, and bread was a part of that or something. I don't know.
I was at a co-working space in downtown Austin. It had views of downtown Austin. So co-working spaces tend to be full of these high-charging city tech-type people. And this co-working space had a question like, if you had $10 million, how would you spend it? And if that question 10 years ago would have been filled with VC ideas of like tech companies to start, and it still had some of those kinds of answers that people wrote on the whiteboard, but I was shocked that like 50% of the answers had some version of move out to the country and start a homestead. It's like there's this longing of getting out of the city, getting away from the hustle and the bustle, getting away from the civilization that's collapsing all around us, out to where there is no civilization, and its collapse won't affect me because I'm living independently and I'm living self-reliantly.
My wife got into like a trend. I just put my foot down. I said, no, we're not doing this. She wanted to get her own wheat berries so we could mill our own flour for making bread. I'm like, no, we're not doing that.
Chickens are in your future. It is your destiny. There are chickens in your yard.
I have chickens. I have chickens now.
It's already happened. But that's the other thing. Like, people aspire to have chickens. My parents did not aspire to have chickens. Their parents did not aspire to have chickens. Their parents saw having chickens as a sign of poverty.
Yes.
But now we see chickens as a sign of wealth. So there's been this big shift to how we view a lot of aspects. And I am suspicious that this is beginning of maybe an 80-year trend kind of back in that direction. So pendulums tend to go back and forth. And this is part of the reason why I'm talking about so much zeitgeist stuff right now, because all of the trends that were coming to one way in 2023, that pendulum reached the top. And what it means is that the pendulum is now heading in a completely different direction. And so many cultural trends are heading in the opposite direction now. And as authors, you're particularly vulnerable for this. I was talking with an author who's like,
oh my gosh, all the women in the chat are like, milling flour is not that hard. No, I have other stuff to do.
You just got to want it more, Jonathan. You just gotta
clearly,
want it more.
Clearly. It's artisan bread. It's so much better when it's artisan bread.
So this shift, I think, is the beginning of a long shift. It'll go through different phases, and it'll be colored differently. So it's hard to predict exactly where it's going to go long term. But I think that there is a nostalgia for a time we did not know. That's very different from the nostalgia of when I was a child. So there's the classic nostalgia of everyone like wants to relive their fourth and fifth Christmases, right? That's like, and so whatever music was popular back then, and kind of that time, that longing for my childhood. Mm-hmm. This is different. This is longing for the childhood of my great grandparents, and that's fascinating. And I'm very like. My grandparents saw milling your own flour as like a thing to be avoided. It's like it's Wonder Bread. It's the greatest thing since. We don't even have a word for what it's the greatest thing since. Yeah.
Our grandparents knew, man.
Sourdough. It's the greatest thing since sliced white bread.
Oh man.
What's old is new again. There's nothing new under the sun.
We're talking about Breadgeist now.
Breadgeist. I think this is where we will end it, but this is not where we will end it. We'll be back next week talking. I will be talking zeitgeist. We'll be talking about bread. Hopefully not bread.